Thanks, MK. Yeah, I love the Bluey, man. It was the 80s, man. So anyhow, let me start over from the beginning. That's wild. I didn't know y'all were y'all couldn't hear me, and I'm just sitting here. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it. It's good to be back. Good to be back. So the uh number one thing, happy birthday, Baker Mayfield. Today's Baker Mayfield's birthday. He's 30. Yes, I did, MK. Yes. So we got to give Baker's props for surviving, man. You know, he had a rough go of it there at Cleveland, man. Everybody thought he was washed up after the shoulder injury and stuff. And plus, you know, who leaves Cleveland and goes and does good? Cleveland is like a career killer. But we got to give him credit. 1995. He was born in 1995. I was almost 30 in 95. It's so wild. You know, it's crazy to think that, you know, I mean, I still think of him as a new guy. You know, Baker Mayfield's a new guy in the league. I do that a lot with players. You know, they'll retire and I'll be like, oh my gosh, he just went in the league. He just came in the league. But yeah, 19, and then to watch other players who are the children of players I used to watch. That is wild. It's wild. But anyhow, happy birthday, Baker Mayfield, 30 years old. Mike Edwards is back with the Kansas City Chiefs. We have lost one of our safeties, but you know, our safety room last year, I was talking about this with the crackling mic. Our safety room was so bad last year. Our secondary in general. But Todd Bowles did an interview with Sports Illustrated, and he was talking about how he racked his brain, and that was his exact quote, racked his brain trying to figure out what happened with his defense and why things were so ineffective. And he said he had a breakthrough. He said it took him weeks. You know, he talked to all the coaches. They all brainstormed and everything, and he worked and he thought and he thought and he thought, and he had a breakthrough. And he said he's figured it out. And I would love to know what the answer is. I guess we'll find out this season. But, you know, we watched the All 22. How many times do we sit there and go, what are they doing? What are they doing? I mean, that soft zone coverage, we saw that. That was ridiculous. He totally abandoned some of his stuff. You know, the Red Rover, he hardly did that last year. The tackling was just atrocious. The safety room, I mean, those guys look lost a lot. So, anyhow, Mike Edwards is gone again. We'll see. We'll see what happens with the safety room. Whitehead's not coming back. Looks like we're going to move Tyke Smith to safety permanently. So that'll be interesting. His coaching, that's what he had a he had a breakthrough. He went, maybe I'm not a good coach. Or maybe I should let somebody else coach. You know, we talked about this. He did give he got a time clock management coach. He hired somebody to do it. So that's interesting. Justin School, you know, we talked about him. He went to Minnesota. And I was like, why did we let him go? Was it a money issue, or was it, you know, he just didn't fit or whatever? But we didn't have information on his contract, and it didn't come out for a while. It just came out. So Justin School got a 1-year, $2 million contract with the Minnesota Vikings. Now, we paid him $1.25 million last year. But before that, in 2023, we paid him $940,000. And then before that, in 2022, we paid him $169,000. And then we gave him another $154,000 for, I guess, it was like contracts. We like signed him and then futures and all that good stuff. So, we went from paying him $500,000 to $1 million to $1.25 million. We didn't want to make the jump to $2 million, apparently. So that's why he left. He was getting a bigger payday. The Vikings got a good deal there, I think. Good for the Vikings. Good for Justin. Hey, it's Molly. Hey, Heather. I saw you, and I appreciate your tech support, Heather. Who else we got? LMH, what's going on, man? But how many people we lost because of my bad mic work? Oh, it's embarrassing. Uh, Julio Jones, my favorite wide receiver behind Mike Evans, has announced his retirement, shocking absolutely nobody because a lot of people were like, oh, he didn't retire already? But he didn't retire last year. He didn't play last year, but he's just now announcing his retirement. He played in 10 games with the Bucs in 2022. He only started in 5 of those games. He didn't really do a whole lot. I was very excited when we got him. You can ask Molly. She always gave me a hard time about how much I loved Julio Jones. I think he was a very, very underrated receiver. And y'all know this. Not so much. I mean, he was a great route runner and, had great hands, very physical. But that was the thing. He was the best blocking wide receiver I've ever seen. He was a monster in blocking. And when he played for us, I pointed out some of his blocking. But he's the only wide receiver I ever saw that consistently blocked Levante David. He could block Levante David. That's how good he was. And a couple times, one time in particular, he decleated Levante David. Now that has only happened less than 5 times in his whole career that I've seen. And for a wide receiver to decleat Levante David it blew my mind. I need to make a clip of that. I really do because, just kudos to Julio Jones. I wish he could have done more with us, but yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. Molly always gave me such a hard time. She's like, I'm going to buy you a Julio Jones jersey. And then when we got him, I was like, buy me a Julio Jones jersey. She never did, though. Yeah, I'm with you, Tom. I wish we would have kept him. I wish we would have kept School. $2 million is not bad at all, and he was definitely serviceable. We're going to talk about that, Lawrence. Who we drafted, we're going to talk about it. We got some special guests coming in. Going to fill us in on the draft info. But yeah, I'm still looking for my Julio Jones jersey, Molly. Derek Carr, the quarterback for the New Orleans Saints, is dealing with a shoulder injury, and it seems like it's kind of serious. It kind of just popped up. Everybody was like, "What?" I think the Saints are going to be done with him, man. But that means they might be in the running for drafting a quarterback. A lot of people are talking about Deion's son. What's his name? Shakur Sanders. So that's interesting. We don't know who we're going to be playing against in our division as quarterback. Special ed guest. Is it Tom Brady? Yeah, right. I got that kind of pull, Lawrence. You know it. I'm glad you recognize it. I always talk about the NFL is the only major sports league in the world that has never had an NFL or a referee scandal. I think it's almost impossible. I think they hide it. Well, anyhow, they announced last week that the NFL are firing 3 officials. They're sending them back to the college ranks. They're not saying why. Yeah. One of them's a female, one of the females. The other 2 are multi-year veterans. So, they're not explaining why, but the fact that they're sending them back to the college ranks makes me feel like they just didn't like their performance. Because I think if it was gambling or throwing games or something like that, they wouldn't let them back into college. Don't know though. You can cheat in college and go to the NFL, right? We saw that with Michigan. That's how you get out of disciplinary action. Is you can just go to the NFL if you get in trouble in the college. So maybe it's the same way. If you get in trouble in the NFL, you just go to college. So I don't know. The NFL, we were talking about this last time we were on. The NFL is targeting mid-May for the official schedule release. So that'll be exciting. That'll be exciting. See who's going to play on Christmas Day. Hope it's not us. I don't know. Do we want to play on Christmas Day? I don't know. I don't think so. It's hard to focus on Christmas Day, you know? You got too much other stuff going on, especially when you got kids. I like to focus on my Bucs. Derek Carr's got a $70 million cap hit coming up. Good grief. Joe Flacco's back in Cleveland. He's still in the league. That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? Josh Johnson is still in the league. I think they both came in the league at the same time, didn't they? Josh Johnson's with the Commanders now. The Redskins. That's crazy. Joe Flacco. I mean, you win one Super Bowl, and then you hang around for the next 20 years. That's what it takes, man. He must have a lot of debt or something. I can't imagine being a backup quarterback for, all these years, man. After being a starter, after winning the Super Bowl. It's wild. Yeah, so Bowles said he had a coaching breakthrough. That's exciting to me. It really was. I was like, ooh, I'm excited. I want to see what he's talking about, See what he does different. He saw something. We saw something. We saw a lot. My suggestion would have been stop having players play the spots. Drives me crazy. I saw that with our linebacker that we just got. Or maybe was it Riddick? I want to say it was a new linebacker we got. He doesn't play to spots. I saw him. He was with the. Gosh, I can't remember who it was. Anyhow, I watched him in coverage, and he was running back to the spot, but then he saw the play getting ready to develop in front of him, and he didn't run to the spot. He ran to where the play was getting ready to happen. I like that. That's how you need to play football. Levante David doesn't run spots. But that's one of the things, stop making the scheme the focal point of the game. Don't make it more important to do the scheme than to stop the opposing players. That would be my number one suggestion. I don't know if that's what he's talking about when he said he had a breakthrough, but that was my first thought. I was thinking the other day about our 2011 football team, 2010, 2011, with Raheem Morris. And specifically, I was thinking about LeGarrette Blount. Now, and I remember talking to everybody, and I was like, I remember being on Halloween night, taking my son trick-or-treating, and I was listening to the Bucs play. Which, I'm actually surprised I went trick-or-treating instead of saying, look, we're staying in tonight, going to watch the game. And that's when I heard him hurdle, and I was like, oh my gosh. And it was the first time he hurdled in the NFL. Well, I came back and I asked Google or whatever, one of those AI bots, I was like, have the Buccaneers ever played on Halloween? And they came back and they said no. So then I went to Pro Football Focus or Pro Football Reference, and I looked it up. And yes, October 31st, 2010, we played Halloween night. We started the game at 4:00 and it lasted until 7, whatever. So I was out and I heard it, and I remember hearing him do it. And so then I came back and I watched the game. It was the first time he hurdled someone in the NFL. It was number 25, Greg Toller. It was a right cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals. Might have been the St. Louis Cardinals at that time. It was week 8. And it was Blunt's only his fourth game. Now he had only had 21 carries in the NFL combined up to that point because he wasn't a starter for us. I can't remember who the starter was, but he got 22 carries in that Cardinals game. He had 2 touchdowns, 120 rushing yards with a long of 48. And the 48-yard long was when he hurdled the player. We started at the Tampa Bay 6. We were backed up on our goal line. It was the fourth quarter, 2 minutes and 10 seconds left. He did fumble once in that game, though. But I remember just being like, whoa. It's like we're used to people hurdling now, but it never happened. When Blunt did it, he like started the trend, And gosh, y'all have heard me say it a million times, but I was so upset. He was probably the biggest player besides John Lynch that I was upset that we lost, that I just got depressed, man. I was like, man, because I really liked Blunt. Anyhow, he only had 426 carries with us in 2.5 years. We ended up trading him to the Patriots in 2013, April 27, 2013. We traded him to the New England Patriots for running back Jeff Demps and a 7th round pick, 229th overall in the 2013 draft. So 2011 was really the only year he started for the Bucs. He played in 14 games and started all 14. He got 1,007 yards in 2010 in 13 games, and he only started 7. He killed it. He killed it in 2010. 2011 was just such a bad year, man. That was bad. That was bad football. Then Shiano came in and he had to get rid of all the guys that were just messing around, and Blunt was one of them. Blunt had a strip club addiction. But Bucs legend Josh Johnson, yeah. In 2012, he only carried the ball 41 times, and that was his last season with us. He only carried it 41 times for 151 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. And we say we traded him because of his fumbling issues, his attendance problems, and his one-dimensional playing style. He ended up going and winning a few Super Bowls, though. He was replaced by, take a guess, Doug Martin, the muscle hamster. He came in 2012 and took LeGarrette Blount's job. Which, I could see where they're like, yeah, okay, we got a legit running back here. And LeGarrette Blount was seen at the time as a one-trick pony. But, he cleaned up his act pretty good, LeGarrette Blount did. A lot of the other guys we got rid of did not clean up their act. Some of them ended up going to prison. Some of them left the NFL for, drug stuff. Tenard Jackson, he got fined and suspended so many times by the NFL, they just finally said, yeah, don't come back. So that was my LeGarrette Blount thing. Then, I was thinking about Jamel Dean, and we talked about him last time. What are we doing with Jamel Dean? And, I really liked Jamel Dean when he first came into the league. I wanted him to be a starter for the first couple of years. He didn't start for us, He came in, I think it was Vernon Hargreaves. He'd come in and play when somebody got injured and stuff like that. I really liked Jamel Dean. I thought he had a lot of potential. I don't feel like he's just ever advanced any, He's played with us for 6 years, 6 seasons, 6 full seasons. That's 102 regular season game potential. Now, in those 6 years, we've gone to the playoffs 5 times. The only time we missed was his first year, 2019. And in those 10 playoff games, he has started 9 of them. For some reason, he didn't play any defensive snaps against Dallas in 2022. I don't remember exactly what happened there, but I do remember it was an issue. There was something going on. Uh, for the first 2 seasons, he was not a full-time starter with us. Now, his injuries have been an issue. He missed 5 games in 2024, 4 games in 2023, 2 games in 2022. But that's not the full story. During those years, he also missed partial games because he got injured during the game. He missed 2 games partial and then 1 game partial in the playoffs in 2024. So that's a total of 7 games missed in 2024. In 2023, he missed 4 games and then 3 games partial. So that's 7 games he was injured. And then 1 game partial in the playoffs. And then 2 games in 2022 he missed, plus 3 games he missed partial during the regular season. And he didn't play in the playoffs for some reason. He played in the playoffs, but he played special teams. It's weird. He didn't play defense. So a lot of injuries with him. Of course, we all knew that. But along with the injuries, his stats are absolutely garbage. He's in 6 years, he's had 8 interceptions. That's it. 8 interceptions. 1 pick six, 1 forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, and he's only played 75% of defensive snaps, if you total it all up. So he's a 75%er. We got Kate Otten, who's a 100%er. You know, quarterbacks are supposed to play quite a bit. So he's about out of the defensive snaps a quarter of the time. But the playoffs, it's even worse. The playoffs, he's got 0 interceptions. And we're talking about he's played 9 playoff games. 0 interceptions, 0 pick sixes, 0 forced fumbles, 0 fumble recoveries, 0 sacks, 0 quarterback hits, and again, 75% defensive snaps in the playoffs. That's just not, that's not acceptable to me. I'm over him. Y'all heard me say it last year. I'm over him. If you can't stay on the field, you're just not, I don't care how good you are. If you can't stay out there. So we're going to talk about that in the draft. Should we look into cornerback? Because I think we're kind of hurting in quarterback. So anyhow, guys, we're going to hook up with some special guests. Let me see. What's up? What's up, Dirt Bike Kid? Where's Tom? What do the refs fired look like? Zelensky? Yeah, maybe that's why we fired him. He was asking for too much money. Carolina game where Blunt did the spinning hurdle. Yeah, man, he was amazing to watch. He's very electric. But those hurdles, he was so good at them, and it was so new in the league, and he was doing them like every game. He just come out, just started doing them. And then, of course, it's a copycat league, so now everybody does it. Did I see LeGarrette at the club? I couldn't afford the strip clubs they go to. Mike Williams was the biggest whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And he ended up leaving the NFL to go with his rap career. I mean, he just flat out said he wanted to be a rapper instead of a football player. The best ability is availability. 100%, man. Corey, yeah, that I would not be mad. I would not be mad. And I normally don't try to trash players. I let other teams do that. But I'm just kind of over him. But if we could trade him, I'd be thrilled to death. Hey, Craig, what's up, man? I was going to email you the other day. I listened to Jar of Flies. I was thinking about you. And, Nutshell. I just love that song. I think it's one of the most beautiful songs ever made. It's just so melancholic, man. It just gets me, I can't not sing along with it. I'll belt it out too. We changing. KJ Britt, I want him back, man. That's your favorite song, Craig? Yeah, man. That's my favorite. Is that your favorite song of all time or your favorite Alice in Chains song? I am starting up. Let me go through my checklist. I'm starting up the Zoom, guys, so we get the special guests on. And yet I find this feeling in my head. No one to come to, no place to go home. All right, getting the links. Oh man. Doo-doo. Yo, give me just a second. Tom. Yeah, yeah, it's probably my favorite song by Alice in Chains, but I do like oh my gosh, the Brain song. What's it called? It's off one of their later albums. It's gonna drive me crazy now. Ah, I'll have to email it to you. I can't think of it right now. All right, let me get these. Let me get these links sent out. No one to cry to. No place to go home. Okay. That didn't work. Privacy is right. Okay, while I'm doing this, I'm going to look up that Alice in Chains song. Let's see. Chains, Brain. Check My Brain. Yeah. Love that song.
Yeah, we're better together.
Did y'all just get Netflix? See, it's fun. And yet I find battle all alone. Okay. I can't remember. See, I didn't. It's always something, man. Always something. Y'all hang in there. Start up my Netflix again. Okay. I didn't have the email saved in my email. Or I did. Okay. Oh, gosh. Oh, this is funny. We spent 2 hours doing this the other day. I was like, we got it down. We got it down. And this is how it always happens. It's always something you don't expect. All right. So what we're going to do is I've got my draft experts. They're going to come on and talk about this draft. They talked and talked and talked and talked. They know what they're talking about. Much more than I do. Y'all know me. I'm kind of draft. Kind of draft. You're being funny. Oh no, I'm gonna put you on cam. He's snoring. That's him snoring. You've been playing that all day, haven't you?
Hey, how's my hair look, Ralph?
It looks very coiffed. Very nice.
Thank you. I worked a couple hours on it.
It looks like it. It looks like you got it professionally done.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, can everybody hear us good? Can everybody see and hear us good? Let me know in the chat. Molly says hi, Tom.
What's up, Molly? How's that baby?
Tom, now can you see the chat?
The chat stopped.
Okay.
So I didn't start it back up.
Okay. I can, when people say anything, I can send it to you. We're still waiting on someone else to join.
Awesome. Where's our other expert?
I'm waiting on him.
Honestly, he's not an expert anyway.
Yeah, he don't know what he's talking about, does
He wants to draft the next JTS or whatever, and I'm just like, come on, dude. We need corners. We need linebackers.
he? Hey, are you at the pool, Tom?
I am at the pool.
Hey, show everybody the pool. Look at this beautiful pool, y'all. Look at that. Look at that. Sunny Florida, man. Nice. Boop, boop, boop. There we go. There we go. Rip Age. What's up, man? Can you hear me? Hello?
What's up?
What's up, man?
I had you were sent to spam, so some technical issues.
Story of my life.
Tom's
man.
talking trash already. He says I want to draft JTS.
Yeah. Yeah, he was he's good at talking trash when you're not around, ain't he?
Hey Tom,
I didn't know you were. I didn't know you were listening.
Oh yeah, I've been here.
Ralph, I thought we were on silent. I thought you said you couldn't get a hold of him.
He's like Santa Claus. He's always listening.
So I was gonna
man.
ask Tom, after the microphone boondoggle and the delay of getting us on, what grade would you give Ralph? What round is Ralph going in?
Oh my God.
Well, we don't have to worry about screwing up because I don't think anyone's watching.
Right.
We actually we have 11 people, so y'all are on.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, y'all got an audience, man.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and share some of the screens, and we can get to talking about some of the draft stuff, I guess.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to discuss what the defense, you guys think we're going to do defense first? in the draft? Is that what y'all have concluded?
Yeah, I think we need more help on the defensive end, and Rampage has been working hard on some edge players and some defensive tackles. And
So are you guys seeing the screen now?
Yeah.
All right. So first, we had already discussed this off screen, but I wanted to go through. I think we have a good feeling on the needs we have currently, but this is going to tell us about people that might be gone next year. So Cade Otton, he's up. Rashad White, he's going to be a free agent. I'm not sure about this. I have to look into this some more. Zion McCollum, and then Luke Gedeke, Hassan Reddick. I doubt we bring him back, even if he has a great year. So then next year, whenever all these people are up, right now we have $32 million in cap space. Luke Gedeke is probably by himself going to get $20 million, which I don't know if you want to give that to him after the concussion stuff. We'll have to see how he plays this year.
Yeah, 20
no,
million.
you don't have to worry about concussions. He's got the special helmet.
Right, that's going to fix it all. We'll have to see how that plays out.
Yeah.
So then looking at our current depth chart, Tom, what would you say are your top needs just looking it over?
Our top needs as far as depth are corner, linebacker. We could use help on the defensive line, safety. I mean, we need depth everywhere. Offensive line.
Yeah, so I view pretty much everything as a potential need. I would say my top needs are edge, cornerback, inside linebacker, guard, and then maybe for potential future needs, offensive tackle, tight end, defensive tackle, and then wide receiver.
Guard. We got Bredesen.
So I think I'm not very high on Bredesen. He rated very low last year with PFF. And I think if you could replace him, if an all-star player fell to you, I would not mind taking somebody like that. But I doubt they go that direction. Now, Jason Light has brought in Gray Zabel, who is projected to go around our pick, and he is a guard. And then Tyler Booker, I don't know if you've watched anything on him, but he's another guard that's supposed to go pretty high. I watched a little bit on him. He's an amazing pass protector. He's got a great anchor. He doesn't let anybody push him back into the quarterback. But as far as athleticism goes, he sometimes struggles to get to the second level. I doubt he'll even – I mean, he could make it to our pick because he is a guard that's not highly valued, but Miami might be in the running for him.
Oh, by the way, MK says hi, guys.
MK, what's up?
MK, I heard he caught some more fish. Sharks this time, I heard.
I saw sharks. We went to the aquarium the other day. Took my daughter.
So looking at linebacker, I think that's probably our top need, unless you really want to replace Dean, which I don't know if they would even do that. I think strong safety is a high need, depending on if they move Tyke Smith there. And then if they did that, that would open up the nickelback spot. Now, I said the other day I didn't really like Starks a whole lot, but I've been watching some film on him, and I'm very impressed. I would say he's actually one of my top 4 guys that I would like to see him take at this point because he's got great ball skills.
I definitely like Starks.
What's that, Starks?
I definitely like Starks. I mean, he does everything well. He hits hard. He plays the line of scrimmage well, and he covers well. I mean, there's nothing not to like.
Yeah, so at first I liked Eamon Wari better because of the physical attributes, but when you watch the tape, he doesn't really stick out to me. Starks is flying around everywhere, making plays on the ball, and he's a good tackler. So I would be okay with him.
I don't understand Eamon Wari. He's kind of like a powder puff. He just doesn't hit. He's big, strong, and fast, but I don't see him doing much.
Yeah, there was a player that came out a couple of years ago. I can't think of his name right now. He was like a huge safety. I think he was on Detroit for a little bit, but he was like a physical freak. He never did much on the field, though. He's actually on Miami now. I'd have to look him up. But so, yeah, Anthony Walker, I'm a little bit familiar with him from Miami. He is pretty good coverage-wise. He gets hurt a lot, though. And he started for several teams. And then Dennis, I guess they like him in the passing game, but he gets hurt a lot, too.
Yeah.
So here's some visits that we've had confirmed so far. It looks like we like
don't think we-
Matthew Gold. What's that?
I don't think we have a starting linebacker on our roster other than Levante.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this guy has started, but he's not a great player by any stretch. He's good, serviceable at best, and he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah,
So-
that's how I feel. I think all of our linebackers besides David are just mid. You know, they're just guys.
So it
Yeah.
looks like they like Golden a lot because they visited
But-
him twice.
But I think the problem with linebackers, I think there's only one really worth drafting.
Who was that?
The only linebacker that's worth drafting is Campbell, of course.
Campbell. Yeah.
Yeah, he's the only one. Jalen Walker, he's not much of a middle linebacker. He's more of an edge guy. And the other guys are just, I don't see where they're fourth and fifth round choices as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
So are you guys seeing the screen that I had pulled up, or are you seeing me?
Yeah. No, I'm seeing the screen.
Okay.
I see both.
Yeah.
Okay, so Golden, I think, is a real possibility because
Rampage. Can you see me, Rampage?
Yeah, I see you.
Yeah, how's my hair look?
I mean, good as always.
Thank you.
The high bars.
Does it look as good as Ralph's beard?
Man, that's a tough choice. Don't
Yeah.
put me on the spot like
I have to admit, Ralph's beard wins out.
But then this Mike Green guy, we've been talking about him a little bit. I watched some tape on him. He's very twitchy. He reminds me of Chop Robinson from last year.
Yeah.
And
Next.
I think he brings a pass rush
Next.
attribute that we don't have yet. But he
Next.
was accused of some things in the past, so I don't know how they're going to look at that. It depends on the interviews.
All right.
They won't even look at him.
They like this guy a lot because I've heard him linked to him several times. Linebacker out of South Carolina. Have you looked at him much yet, Tom?
I did look at him and I like him.
Yeah, I like him too.
But he's just a run linebacker. He's not. I don't think run linebackers are what we need. We need someone who can cover and do it all. And and if it was 1987, he'd be a great linebacker.
Yeah. We definitely need linebackers that can do it all because you know how.
Yeah, we don't want another.
Bowles
We don't want
is.
another KJ Britt.
Right. Yeah.
I feel like he's currently projected to go in the second round or third round. I guess if they miss out on Campbell, he'd probably be a fallback option.
I bet that if we miss Campbell, which I don't think Campbell's going to be available, I've been seeing him mocked around 14, 15, 16. I bet we pick him in the second round.
Yeah,
Demetrius Knight.
I would probably say that's a pretty safe bet. If he's there, they would pick him. So then we have this Siobhan Rebel guy. He really fits in what Todd Bowles likes. He's lengthy. He's got great linear speed, but he is coming off an ACL injury. So they have said that they are prioritizing availability. I don't know if they're going to want to take a gamble. They probably would draft him, especially if he's there in round 2.
Well, they also want playmakers, and from what I understand, he's a playmaker. So
Yeah, I liked what I saw of him on film.
I did too.
So then we have some of these Texas A&M guys: Turner, Stewart, Scorton. I'm okay with them. We've talked about them a little bit off screen.
How are you okay? How are you okay with Stewart? I mean, he had 1.5 sacks every year.
Basically, you'd be betting on upside, and you'd be betting that his best days are ahead of him. Physically,
I'm sorry, I don't want to argue, but we just got rid of looks like Tarzan, plays like James. So let's not do it again.
which guy? JTS?
Yes.
I don't know if he ever looked like Tarzan.
Ralph, do you like a guy who has 1.5 sacks a year for 4 straight years?
From college?
Yes.
Oh, I've seen guys that have horrible college stats come in the NFL and do good.
Then he's your man.
I am sitting this one out. Y'all know me.
So he would not be my top choice. I would actually not be happy if they drafted him at 19. If
I
they
wouldn't
traded
either.
down,
Really?
depending on who is on the board, I guess I could be okay with it. He does have all the physical measurables you look for, but the production is not there. So you'd
I think
basically,
I think he's a
What-
third round pick.
I like this guy a lot. Have you watched him at all, Turner?
I have. I liked him a
When
lot too.
when I watched his tape, he made a lot of plays.
I'll tell you what, there's some
Um,
monster defensive tackles in this class. I mean, monsters.
yeah, there's a lot of big guys who can run.
Yes.
A lot of guys
And,
that
and
kind of
they're always in the backfield too.
they remind me of Vita a lot. So I actually did watch something earlier in the season where Jason Light kind of alluded to wanting to get another defensive tackle, and he started to talk about maybe getting Vita some more time to sit on the bench, like he wouldn't be out there all the time. But then he held back and he cut himself off before he revealed that.
I'll be honest with you. I think Vita gets tired.
Oh yeah,
He is 30
he-
years old. I mean,
Yeah.
year before last, his conditioning was absolutely garbage. Last year, it wasn't too bad. I think it was kind of. He probably increased about 25%, but yeah, he does get tired out there. There's no doubt about it. Rampage, you've got a couple of people in chat. There's somebody called Cars Are Just Better asking if you know who they are. And then there's a AV Beanie that says, hey, it's Avery. Heather told me you're live.
yeah, that's probably people that I know from my
Hey,
work.
come on. Where's my fans? Come on, people.
It's Cars Are Just Better is a sub in school for math in 6 hour.
Yep.
Okay.
I told them I was going to be on.
Yeah, you should
So-
unshare your screen so they can see your face. Right now,
Well, I wanted to run through these real quick. Let's see.
there you go.
So yeah, Gray Zabel's the bottom one that's interesting. He's projected to go around 19. I've watched a little bit on him. He's all right looking. I wouldn't be thrilled. I wouldn't be super upset because I do think we need an upgrade at left guard and potentially even right guard. I'm willing to give Mock another year.
Well,
to
you know
develop.
me. I'd never get mad about drafting in the trenches
Mock
whatsoever.
Mock made a big jump last year, but I think he needs to make another big jump.
Be careful
then-
talking about Ralph's boy Mock.
Yeah, I've seen him get pushed back and bullied a little bit too much. I wouldn't be totally against
Oh, really?
But
I
Bredesen needs
know
to
what you're
go
talking
first.
about.
So then, rumors. It looks like the Falcons and Buccaneers really like Jihad Campbell. The sentiment now is that the Falcons and Bucs are unsure if they want to draft a non-pass rushing linebacker in the first round, but both love Campbell's upside. Now, Tom,
I've heard, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but
No, you're
I've heard that if Campbell is ready, the Buccaneers are taking him, no questions asked. And I've seen that on a couple different podcasts.
so what's interesting to me, whenever I was looking at Jihad Campbell, and Tom and I were talking about this, he has right here it says he has 32-inch arms, but I swore I've seen him at 34. So I might need to double check that. Because if he has 34, that's very rare arm length for a linebacker. That's like elite offensive tackle arm length. So that would be freakish. So looking at the physical stuff, big hands, good 40, good broad jump, great 10-yard split.
Didn't Campbell have a knee injury or something?
So he has a torn labrum, and I looked that up and researched it a little bit. It looks like it takes 4 to 6 weeks for it to reattach to the bone. Now, he had surgery,
Okay.
and then another 4 to 6 weeks for strengthening and regaining full function. So he had that done at the end of the combine, which would have been late February. I think he'd be ready by training camp, honestly.
Yeah, plenty of time. Now, is
I mean,
that
I've seen,
and
is that an injury that can be recurring? Is that going to be a constant issue with
from
him?
what I've read, they don't have concerns about that.
Okay, good.
It would, I don't know, you'd have to talk to the medical staff,
And-
but
I
mean,
think he's our number one player we should target because we don't have any linebackers. Levante's what, 34, 35? He's
So
pretty
when
much
I-
out
Yeah.
the door.
Yeah,
I mean-
I say this every year, but this has got to be Levante's last year. You know?
right.
I know inside linebacker is not exactly a high priority as far as the first round, but if you
Yeah.
saw us play last year, the middle of the field was wide open
Yeah.
all year long. And Levante's leaving. It's just going to get worse. And he does everything well. He even plays edge. So if you want him to play edge, he can play there. I mean, he's the only linebacker I saw that I thought ran well, was physical,
Hmm.
and was all over the field. And he also he reminds me of Levante maybe even more so, maybe even better, because he really picks up plays well, and he's there. He doesn't get faked out very much or anything like that. He's just a very smart, physical, fast player,
Well, that
and
sounds
I
like
really like.
yeah, it sounds like a guy we need there. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, we have a few needs though, so
this is true. Craig
not
says
the only
that
one.
you and Rampage and Craig both totally agree on offensive lineman. Mock and Bredesen are meh, and you are getting high praise as being a substitute teacher in the chat, Rampage.
Thank
They,
you.
you guys aren't the only ones that think that they are meh, because I definitely agree with that.
I
Yeah.
really liked Booker's pass protection when I watched him, but I think he's going to be gone before we pick. But with a guard, you never know. I would probably agree that Campbell would be the number one guy to look at there.
I think so.
And,
Yeah.
Unless, in my opinion, if they have an edge player graded as like an elite
Yeah.
pass
yeah,
rusher.
Yeah.
Because to me, an elite pass rusher trumps everything. It's like
Yeah.
a quarterback on offense.
It's just so
Rampage,
it's so hard to think of getting an off-ball linebacker in the first round. You know, especially at 19. If you're down,
correct.
it's just it's kind of hard to swallow, to be honest with you, because linebackers just aren't seen as big players like they used to be. You know, special players, but we need.
But don't forget, he's also an edge player if you want to play him there. Rampage wants. He's got quite a few edge guys he wants to talk about. Can we
Yeah.
go ahead with that?
Well, I wasn't sure we are going to get to that tonight because I have like 15 guys listed. I didn't know if you guys wanted to do other streams later in the week and we could just break down positions, who we like at each position, maybe some sleepers for each spot. But I was going to say about Campbell,
Mhm. Go ahead.
you know, you're saying it's hard to take a linebacker in round one. It's hard to swallow.
Yeah.
I usually agree with that. I do think Campbell is a rare breed of linebacker, though. He's
Okay.
not a guy that you would typically. I mean, he's checks all the boxes. The injury's a little concerning. I think that'll heal up. I've read some things about him that say that as far as diagnosing plays, he needs to get better at that.
Okay.
His speed is his greatest asset, but it sometimes works against him because he will read something wrong and he'll get totally out of position.
Oh my
But
gosh.
those are things that you can work on. We know Todd, he's a great coach. He's going to coach those up, right?
All right.
Like he did with Devin White.
I read that too, but I disagreed from what I saw in the highlights. At least he was spot on his reads. You know, but we're looking at highlights, not whole
So-
games.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Here's another interesting thing I wanted to share. It was something that I read about Jihad in my draft magazine. So it says weaknesses: more of an athlete than a linebacker on the field at this stage. Up ramp might be rapid in the NFL environment, but film review shows multiple misreads and mental mistakes. Faster decisions are mandated in the middle of an NFL defense. Generally, he's assignment sound, but must improve overall awareness. Most of the communication duties went to Deontay Lawson at Alabama. So it would be a learning curve for him. We do have some other veterans linebackers, though, between Walker and Dennis. So I think worst case scenario, you rotate him in a little bit and have him learn. And next year when Levante leaves, he's ready to step up.
Yeah.
Was that written by an Auburn graduate?
It's like a bunch of people, a bunch of
I
scouts.
mean,
that
I
work with him.
don't agree with any of that.
You didn't like any of that? Well, I mean, the thing
No.
about
I mean, we're looking at highlights. We're
Go
looking
ahead.
at highlights. I don't have game film, so
right.
How can we get game film, guys? I've been working on this for a year. I just can't find any game film.
So game film, the thing I look at it, there's a site called NFL Draft Film, but they kind of just show like highlights. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want a full game at least.
do you have any communication with the real Bucs guys? Because they seem to have game
Yeah,
film.
they do get stuff.
No, I think we talked about that last year. I can't remember. I'd have to talk to Molly. I have a hard time remembering who. I've been on a couple podcasts with people, and it might have been them. So,
Mhm.
So how are we doing on time?
that's a good question. Let me see. I would think we still got about 10
It's
minutes.
7:36 right now.
Did you want to do a mock and then I'll do a mock, Tom?
I don't think we have time right now. Maybe later in the week.
Okay, I can get through them pretty quick, but
I thought it would take me a while.
that's really all I
I,
have because we don't have enough time to get into
I'll tell you
position by position.
another player I really like if he falls down, and I've seen him fall down a little bit, is Will Johnson, the quarterback from Michigan. Some
Yeah,
people have him rated really high, but other people have him fallen.
he's one of my top four for sure.
His anticipation is unreal. I mean, he just seems to like always know where the ball's at and just makes great breaks on the ball, knocks him down, picks him off, takes him back to the house. I mean, he just seems outstanding, at
So
least
I
in
would say
highlight.
my top four right now would be Campbell, Johnson, Starks, and Green. I don't know what order. Really, Green, it gets back to stuff that we can't answer. Like, are they satisfied with his answers? Are they satisfied with talking to the people who are around him all the time? Do they think that the character issues are behind him? If you do think it's behind him, he has elite twitch, and that's very difficult
I
to
mean,
find. We don't have that.
typically, Tampa Bay doesn't even look at anything like that. So,
Yeah, the thing I thought was interesting though was he was on the visits, so they are looking at him at least. He was at the combine. They sat down and talked to him.
What are
So
his
I mean, they talked to like everybody. So
what are his issues that they're having problems with?
I don't know. I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it.
right,
Okay.
it's stuff that on YouTube you can get flagged for talking about. But
Okay.
there's two different incidents that are red flags.
And we took Jameis Winston, so
And
Right.
to me, that makes it's okay. It's similar instances that Jameis had, similar problems.
So the people that stick up for him, they say those happened a while back. It was like a couple of years ago. Okay, and then the other one I think was back in high school. But
I would say that since there's two of them, I mean that's really
Right.
they're not going to look at him. I don't think so. What do you think about? I don't know how to say his name, Donovan Ezaruko.
So I like him a lot. I don't know if I like him at 19. I don't really see a lot of weaknesses with him. I don't think I don't think anybody else that I have listed other than Carter, maybe Pierce out of Tennessee. I don't know if you watched him at all, but I don't think anybody outside of Green, Carter, and Pierce have elite twitch. I think the other guys are they have good ability to turn the corner. They have good moves. Some of them are very polished. Like they have a lot of different moves and ways to set you up and game plans. Like I actually really like the guy out of Arkansas.
Pierce also has issues, so we're not going to draft him either.
Here, yeah. So with him, I haven't looked it up, but like I haven't read a lot about it. But from what I remember watching other people's draft previews, it's basically people think he's kind of immature. They don't know if he loves football a lot. So that's something you have to figure out by talking to him. And I'm sure every team has their own opinion on these guys. It's just things that we on the outside looking in can't really say for sure, you know. On tape, though, he's impressive at rushing the passer. He looks good.
The player that I've been disappointed the most on as far as edge is Sawyer. I thought he was a real baller for Ohio State and made big plays, but he doesn't look like much on tape.
Yeah, so he has short arms. He's kind of a tweener. I would be okay with taking a chance on him, maybe if he's still there in the third or fourth.
Yeah.
But higher than that, I wouldn't be too happy with that pick.
He gets off the ball slowly, too.
So I like the other guy from Ohio, though, but we can look at all that on a different day. I don't know how you guys want to prioritize positions. I feel like I've watched mostly defense and offensive line so far. The other spots I need to watch a little bit more. Cornerback I need to watch a little bit more too.
I've watched a little bit of corner, and you know, outside corner, there's not a whole lot of them. There's a lot of guys that, you know, can play the middle of the field, but
yeah, I watched Revel and Johnson primarily. I need to watch some of the other guys. I only have like 5 corners listed, and one of them is Hunter, and he's going to be long gone.
Have you seen Barron?
I haven't watched his stuff yet, but he's got the elite speed, right? He's 5'11". He's got elite speed.
Yeah, they say he can play inside or outside.
He has good ball production too, from what I remember. I think he had 5 interceptions last year.
He runs a 4.39. pulling up his stats now. Yeah, he had 5 interceptions last year. I mean, I would like him, maybe not in the first round, though.
Yeah, I mean, I think in the first round, if you take Green off the board, I think Johnson, Starks, or Campbell, one of those guys will be there at 19.
What I like about getting someone like Barron is I think it moves Tyke Smith back to safety, and he's a much better safety than he is, playing the third corner.
So do you guys think Izzian would they move him to nickelback, or would he just be a backup at that point?
I think he'd be a backup. I don't want him starting.
I thought he was okay last year. He's not like a difference maker. So Barron
he's fast.
right here?
He's small. Doesn't tackle well.
Craig wants to know if you guys looked at any receivers.
I looked at some receivers.
So the
Let me pull
receivers
them up.
I actually like the receivers in this draft. I like quite a few of them. So like
There's a lot of
Golden, Burden, Egbuka, Royals, Higgins, Bond, Felton, Tesla, and Sam Brown are the ones I have listed.
Tesla.
McMillan. Did you look at McMillan?
When I watched him, I don't know, he just looks really slow to me, like in and out of his breaks, to change of direction.
I like him.
Super high
he
on
fights
him.
for the ball. I like Higgins, and I like both Iowa State guys.
I wouldn't be throwing a fit, upset if they drafted Tet McMillan, but I don't know. When I watch him, he just looked really sluggish, and I don't know if that's going to cause issues.
Another one I like is Ty Felton. He has really good speed, decent size, 6'2".
Yeah, I like him a lot too. He'd be a good mid-round value. So
I'll tell you who's.
It's interesting that to me that they've done so much on this guy, though.
On what guy?
It's interesting to me that they've done so much research on this guy. Like, they've mentioned taking a receiver at 19, and then they talked to him at the combine, and he's a top 30 visit. He runs a 4.29, and he's projected to go in the first round, like kind of around our pick. So he would bring an aspect I feel like we don't really have. I mean, I don't know, like a very good prospect at receiver with elite speed. I don't think we have that. He's 21 years old. That would be an interesting wild card at 19.
I'm sorry, I have old man glasses. I can't see who you're talking
Oh,
about.
I'm looking at Matthew Golden. He was one of the guys they met with at the combine, and they met with him in a top 30 visit.
Right.
And
Yeah,
Todd Bowles. I was just going to say Todd Bowles and Jason Light have both alluded to taking a playmaker. They say that offense. Todd Bowles said offense wins, and Jason Light was saying he was talking up the wide receiver, saying wide receiver is not out of the question at night. Of course, they're going to say that, the smoke screens, but It's interesting they visited with him twice. They must like him a lot.
I think there's a really good chance that they could take a wide receiver in the first round. They like to surprise people anyway, so.
And I know we had talked before about when we did one of the mock drafts, we saw Tyler Warren fell down. I don't know if people know who that is, but he's pretty consistently the top tight end prospect in this draft.
Oh, that's right. You were saying he's a Shockey, right? Jeremy
so
Shockey.
He's been compared to Jeremy Shockey on some stuff I saw.
Yeah.
I think he's a lot better than Cade Otton. I like Cade Otton. I think Cade Otton's good. I don't think Cade Otton's great. And I'm not willing to give Cade Otton a ton of money next year when he's a free agent either. So if you get this guy falling into your lap at 19, to me, you get an elite middle of the field guy like that, that's something worth thinking about.
Tyler Warren's a monster. He would be fantastic, but I just can't believe that he would fall. He's 6'6", 257. He gets behind people. Penn State had no passing game. None. They had no vertical receivers, anything like that. They just had him. And he still managed to put up 1,200 plus yards, 8 touchdowns. I think he's a great pick if he would fall, but I don't think he'll fall. I mean, I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't either. There's a lot of teams that could use a tight end like Indianapolis. Yeah. And he's been mocked to the Saints a little bit, and I think the Cowboys has been mocked too.
I mean, tight ends are becoming a bigger part of offenses these days, and he's way ahead of every other tight. He's like he's like Campbell is at linebacker. He's way ahead of everyone else at the position. So I can't see him falling
So
19.
would you want to draft this Siobhan Ravel at 19?
I don't know.
I would not.
Injury concerns and
not.
stuff like that.
Craig says he likes Thornton Jr. in the 4th if we can get him.
Well, my thing is, I like this guy on tape. I like his attributes, but he's coming off that ACL, and with the injuries we've had with Dean and McCollum, I'd probably rather take a guy at 19 who has a little bit cleaner medical record than that.
Yeah, good point.
Are we really going to listen to Craig? I mean, he's an okay Uber driver, but he's not really an expert. So we are the experts.
If he was an expert, he'd be on a podcast, right?
Yeah, he would be,
So this says only 1 year of high-level production before the ACL. Medical evaluation will be crucial.
Oh, yeah. I don't want any more injury-prone guys.
So they do like him because, he's been one of the guys they've been visiting with, and he does fit what Todd Bowles would look for, 6'2", and pretty decent arm length, pretty good arm length for a corner. He'd probably be the least, either him or Zabel would be the least likely person that I would want to get at 19. I think I'd almost rather take Golden than those two guys. But
I thought he said 3rd or 4th round.
For who? Siobhan Rebel?
Oh, I thought he said Thornton.
Yeah. Thornton is a wide receiver, not a defensive back. Yeah.
Oh, is Craig talking about somebody?
Yeah,
Who's
Thornton
Craig
Jr.
talking about?
Yeah.
Is that a receiver? Who is it?
Yeah, wide receiver. He was
Thornton,
talking about in the 4th
he's
round.
a wide receiver from Tennessee.
Okay.
He doesn't have very good stats, but he can fly.
See if I
Like
can find. Here he is.
600. He only had 26 receptions, but I think he's a 4.3 guy. I think he's 6'4",
Yeah,
too.
he's got really
6'5".
good speed.
Yeah, he's 6'5".
6'5".
Yeah, good grief. He's tall.
Good 10
He's
yards.
rated-
He accelerates quickly.
He's rated pretty well, but he doesn't have much stats. I mean, I don't know. I don't follow Tennessee, so does anybody know anything about their passing program or anything like that?
No. Tom, I'm actually kind of surprised that you haven't been hawking any West Virginia players.
There's only one West Virginia player in this draft.
Who?
And he is some people have him listed as an offensive guard, and some people have him listed as an offensive tackle. But I'm not one that, I was big on our center from last year.
Yeah.
But I'm not one just to say, West Virginia guys are great or anything like that. If I say someone's good, they're good. I mean, that doesn't matter. The player that I'm thinking about, I can't think of his name right now. He's not as good as our center was last year. But he was still pretty dominant. But he got a lot of penalties called on him that I thought were just Wyatt Mallin's his name. That I thought he had a lot of penalties called on him that were just pure BS. But he doesn't allow any sacks. He played tackle really well. They're talking about moving him to guard. I don't think he's built like a guard. He's like 6'6" or so. But
So
3rd round, 4th round,
without watching film,
He's not
on
Zach
this-
Frazier.
Without watching film on this guy, the two things that jump out to me right away as major concerns. Route tree is very underdeveloped. He's in 4 years in college, but he primarily lives off verticals and comebacks. And then separation consistency varies wildly from game to game. Can completely vanish for long stretches against physical coverage.
So he's a deep
Those
guy.
are two major red flags to me. Now, physically, the 6'5", the straight line speed, that's very impressive. But I'd have to watch more tape on this guy to formulate an opinion, a strong opinion on him.
All right, guys.
So one thing
we got less than a minute here. I wanted to wrap this up. You two, we're going to do a mock draft. Don't know if we're going to be able to do it tomorrow. I've got that thing going on tomorrow night, so I'm not sure. Will y'all be available Wednesday?
I'm
just
available
let me
Wednesday.
know.
Okay.
Let me know when a good time is.
All right. This Zoom's going to cut off any second now. I don't know when. It doesn't.
All right.
Okay.
It's
See
got
you
a
guys
horrible.
later.
One thing about Wallen is he can play guard and tackle.
There we go. See, it just pops off. Oh my goodness. Well, there we go. That was our first call-in show. Those guys do good, man. They know their stuff. I'm very, very happy to have you people, as friends and listeners, because I learned a lot, man. I learned a lot from you guys. Like I said, I have never been a big draft guru, and we've got quite a few draft guys. So, I want to give everybody a chance to get on and say their thing. We're going to start doing like a call-in. Especially want to do it during the season, like after games and stuff. I'll have like segments where you can call in and say what you want to say, your feelings about the game or whatever. So this is kind of a forerunner to that. So we're going to try to do a live stream Wednesday and do a mock draft. And we're going to do quite a bit of draft stuff up until the draft. And then, of course, we're going to be live streaming the first night of the draft. And we might even do, just a big party, big Zoom meeting where if you want to come in, join in and talk crap during the draft, you can do it. So be on the lookout for that. Craig, brother, it is so good to see you, man. All right, guys, I'm going to knock it off. I got to go eat. I appreciate y'all hanging out. I think we got some good draft information going on there. Like I said, those guys know what they're talking about. And I appreciate them coming on. So, again, we'll see you guys Wednesday. We're going to do mock drafts, start that up. I actually found a site where we can do mock drafts against other people. And we choose our teams, they choose their teams, and you can do as many rounds as you want. So, what I would like to do, and I was talking it over with Tom and Rampage, y'all let me know what you think about this, but we'll assign each other roles. Like somebody could be Coach Bowles, somebody could be Jason Light, somebody could be Spytech. Wait, no, he's gone. Somebody could be, different people in the organization. And we'll do a live draft against the live people and, debate amongst ourselves who we're going to pick. And we'll have the time, we'll just like a live draft, the real thing. And we'll just see how it turns out. I think that'd be kind of fun. So anyhow, Craig, I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I'm getting off here. And until next time, go Bucs.